Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. So I've been doing a lot of thinking today, really appreciating and enjoying these Obama-led airstrikes in Iraq. Obviously I'm being facetious, but notably having forecasted this just roughly 2 months ago, and now all of it coming to fruition in reality, I couldn't help but ask myself if Democrats are perhaps shitting their own pants. Yeah, you heard me, the same Democrats, the Democrats, as my grandfather used to say when he was still alive, that voted for President Barack Obama on an anti-war stance, on an anti-war approach to the White House. I wonder if they shat or sharted their own pants earlier this morning and perhaps late last evening, when the President of the United States, who ran on an anti-war campaign to the White House and then patted himself on the back, saying that he allegedly withdrew U.S. troops from Iraq about 2 years ago, now suddenly pressed the red button again and is bombing now the shit out of Iraq because of the rise of ISIS. Now, it's important to have some historical context here, because if you've been following me for some time now, you would understand and you would know wholeheartedly that ISIS has been created by the U.S. federal government. It's manufactured by the White House, just like Al-Qaeda, just like Osama bin Laden, bin Laden. All of it manufactured by Obama, the administration, and Bush before him. Again, George W. Bush and Barack Hussein Obama, no different from each other, both warmongers. And again, 2 years from the alleged withdrawal of troops, Obama is now striking with the red button. And note that this is all a very great conflagration in the Middle East, and this is not just a war in Iraq. This is a war in Iraq and Syria. Aha! That's why the president has been arming terrorists and insurgents on the ground to potentially destabilize and actively destabilize Bashar al-Assad's regime. Of course, all of this has since spilled over from Syria, a chemical attack on civilians, which we later came to find, according to reports from the UN, the United Nations, folks, people like Carla Del Ponte pointing a finger not at the Bashar al-Assad regime or government, but instead the White House. But instead, the actual insurgents being armed and funded on the ground by the United States government. And of course, all of this spilling over into Iraq. And it's ISIS only gaining more ground and gaining more steam because of the Obama administration. Now, they came to power for a reason, folks. The President of the United States knows what he's doing, and it's important you remember and you understand how ISIS came to power. All of it has to do with the destabilization effort, not just in the Middle East, but more recently in Syria and the government of Bashar al-Assad. That was and has been the big push of the Obama administration, which has created the momentum and has acted as the catalyst for what we're seeing today in the Middle East, most notably in Iraq. Because the intention has always been to attack Iraq. The intention has always been to bomb that part of the world. And notice how the ceasefire has now ended in Gaza, folks. Not only do we have Iraq under attack, Iraqi genocide 2 years since we supposedly withdrew, we still have continued war and continued bloodshed in Gaza as a byproduct of Western influence and Western power. And the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, pushing that agenda forward. Again, Israel and the United States allies pushing the same darn agenda in the Middle East. And all of this has to do with the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the preservation, or at least the failed attempt preservation, of the U.S. dollar reserve currency, which is coming to an abrupt end, is coming to the last of its days, with the rest of the world, notably Russia, moving away, creating their own World Bank alternatives and International Monetary Fund alternatives, which directly threatens the U.S. dollar. We saw the same thing happen in Libya. It was the reason for the push and the indirect murder of Muammar Gaddafi. You see, the minute any nation tries to move away from the U.S. dollar, which is totally engrossed in debt, and bailout after bailout, you see, there's a reason the rest of the world is trying to move away from this thing, because the U.S. dollar is dirty. But anytime a country tries to do it, the United States bombs them. They take them out. They indirectly kill and murder people like Muammar Gaddafi. And it's exactly why missiles and bombs are raining on Iraq today. It's exactly why the Obama administration has made a big push in Syria. And it's exactly why Benjamin Netanyahu has made an aggressive attack and has actively been invading Gaza. All of this is interconnected, folks. All of this is a part of the global influence that makes up the paradigm today of global international finance and these oligarchs that run the world and the White House. Whether or not it's George W. Bush and a continuation of his family name and legacy, or it's the Clintonista clan, Miss Hillary Clinton, or it's the wild card Barack Obama that has everything from the Second Amendment and anything else constitutionally related under attack. This is the truth, the absolute truth. I'm Christopher Green. Get it out everywhere, make it viral, and click the link below to support our sponsor.